Welcome to episode 81 of the Super Parent Syndrome, and I am your host, Dr. Nick Fanning. So, today we are going to talk about graduation. Sit back and relax, let's get started.
Parenting in the 21st century is ever evolving, and while you balance work, kids, and your sanity, it's easy to feel discouraged. Welcome to the Super Parent Syndrome with your host, Dr. Nick Fanning.
Graduation. So first of all, congratulations, all those high school graduates and all those college graduates and even post-college. You're talking doctorate, master's, whatever it might be. May is the season for graduation. So here's the thing. This time of year is a really great time to reflect on everything that you've come past. Now, here's the thing. When we're going through all these graduation parties, it's been very revealing to look at the shrine. You know what I mean? So we go to the party, they have the shrine. So we're talking about the table that has all the medals, all the ribbons, all the pictures of growing up, and all the change. And when you look at this thing, often it's super, super impressive. And you're like looking at this and you're like, holy cow, how can someone fit so much in such a short time? We often forget that, hey, we're still doing that. So even though the fact that it's been 19 years since I've graduated, I'm a class of 99 from McCook, Nebraska. Oh yeah, go Bison. But here's the thing. If I look at all I accomplished back then compared to what I've accomplished there. So basically I've doubled in age, you know what I mean? And so I look at okay, there was first part and second part. All too often, we don't honor that second part. Because we don't have those parent units. I mean, we do, but they're not cheering us on. They're not keeping things. They're not building another shrine. There's no second graduation for us. And that's the sad part, because honestly, the time that we've spent since then is just as important. And in fact, even if you have kids, you might be putting all this effort into them and not into yourself. And you got to take time just to say you know what have I done? How have I been doing? And to honor that and to celebrate that. Because all too often we're just kind of I did set a goal to do this, and when I reach it, it's yeah, I made it. I mean, that's awesome, but it's no big deal now. It was a big deal back then, but when I actually finally did the work, it doesn't seem that matter to really matter that much. And really, honestly, it does, because here's the thing: you're not the same person you used to be. When you set those goals, when you set the year before, hey, what's going to happen this year? You are a smaller version of yourself. And over the course of the year, to get those targets done, to attain those things, you had to be a better version of yourself. You had to become more. And that in itself is such an accomplishment. It's like this. My mentor, he's talking about hey, even if it can't, he had to run a half marathon, and the where it happened to it is that when the day of the half marathon, his wife went into false labor, and he's like, oh, well, I'm not going to go to this half marathon. I'm going to stay close, because what if this is the legit thing? Now, here's the thing. He could still celebrate that half marathon, because really, it was all about the training. It was all about the prep. He already won in his mindset. Yes, there was an event for the half marathon that he needed to do, and he actually went and ran all by himself with the time. But what it came down to is that you already won at that point. So what are you going to do to celebrate that? And so maybe you don't have a shrine, maybe you don't have anything like that. But what if you started, doing that? Maybe having a journal, maybe taking a moment every time you do have a win to actually celebrate it, whether it's big or small. Because in my circle, there are no small victories. They're just victories. There are no large victories. They're victories. And every victory should be a chance to celebrate. So what I'm going to ask you is that in your life, you're probably holding back on celebrating a little bit more often. And what could you do to have those mini wins? Because I can tell you this, time is all relative. And they say that the reason that as we age, time seems to go by faster and faster is because we have less novelty things. We have less first times. We have less celebrations. We're not learning to walk. We're not learning to drive for the first time. We're not, getting as much information for the first time. And so time seems to go by faster because there's less of those events. So what if we took a moment to hey, let's slow things back down? What if we purposely celebrated those things so that we could actually have more firsts, more celebrations, and more victories? Imagine what your life would look like if you just took a little bit of time to celebrate that. So that's your lesson for today. There's going to be homework posted in the emails. Now, here's the thing. If you haven't signed up for the email, I send out an email every single day, which has like basically the cheat sheet. So it comes down to why I'm talking about this, what are the main points, what are the challenges, and then the quote of the day. It is designed to be able to be printed out. So if you need to put it up on your wall or have it in a binder or whatever it is, so that way you can journal a little bit more effective, that's what it's there for. I don't have anything to sell just yet. In fact, I've had people reach out to coach with me. And I am coaching chiropractors. I am coaching with a company called Wake Up Chiro. And if that's something you want to do, then hey, I'll put a link in the show notes for that, and we can make sure that it's not a chiropractic thing. It's more life coaching anyway. We can set you up for that. Otherwise, I will officially have a group coaching type format coming up soon. But right now, I'm just kind of in the phase where I'm just getting listenership and building up basically the email list. I'm building up followers on Facebook, and I'm just trying to give, okay? And we'll have something official later, but right now I want you to focus on what can you do on your own. Follow these podcasts, do the homework in there, and if you can follow that homework and it jives really well with you, then you're going to love working with me later, okay? So spread the news, share this episode. I appreciate you all. This is Dr. Nick Fanning, signing off.
Thanks for listening to another episode of The Super Parent Syndrome. Please be sure to visit peptalksforparents.com for more content and our free newsletter. And remember, you are not alone.